Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel.
Welcome back to the General Hospital Spoilers channel, where today we'll dive deep into the riveting drama unfolding on Thursday, November 6th as family ties strain, secrets resurface, and unexpected alliances form in Port Charles. In the grand halls of the Quartermaine mansion, tension simmers like a pot about to boil over as Tracy Quartermaine drops a bombshell on her unexpected visitor, Gio Palmieri. The usually unflappable matriarch appears unusually rattled, her eyes darting around the empty rooms that once buzzed with familial chaos. Gio, fresh from a poignant conversation with Emma Scorpio Drake that left him yearning for the stability of roots after years of wandering, arrives seeking solace only to find himself thrust into the heart of Quartermaine turmoil. Tracy reveals a dramatic twist after unearthing the authentic will that rightfully honors Monica Quartermaine's legacy. She decisively evicted the scheming Ronnie Bard from the estate. But in a shocking ripple effect, the entire Quartermaine clan Edwards echoes still lingering in their decisions stormed out in solidarity, leaving her isolated in the echoing mansion. This reversal of fortune hits hard, transforming the opulent home into a symbol of fractured bonds, with Tracy's sharp wit masking a vulnerability she rarely shows. Gio, ever the grounded newcomer with his musicians' empathy honed from street performances and lost gigs, becomes the unlikely mediator, his confusion giving way to gentle probing as he recalls his own recent epiphany about the irreplaceable warmth of family gatherings. Drawing from tales Emma shared of her parents' enduring love amid espionage and heartbreak, Gio might weave a compelling narrative to soften Tracy's pride, urging her to extend an olive branch, perhaps even crafting a heartfelt letter or staging a surprise reconciliation dinner under the stars in the Quartermaine gardens. As the conversation deepens, hints emerge of buried resentments, like old boardroom battles and inherited rivalries, but Gio's calm presence could spark Tracy's rare humility, potentially leading to a mended dynasty, or at least a tentative truce that echoes through Port Charles' elite circles. Across town, the anniversary of a profound loss casts a long shadow over Danny Morgan, who seeks counsel from the steadfast Alexis Davis in a quiet corner of the courthouse. Exactly 1 year after Sam McCall's tragic departure shook the foundations of two blended families, Danny, now a young man grappling with the weight of unspoken vows, confesses a gnawing guilt that twists like a knot in his chest. He had silently pledged to his mother on her deathbed to shield and nurture his half-sister Scout Quartermaine, envisioning late-night story sessions and protective Big Brother adventures. Yet circumstances beyond his control have erected barriers. Drew Kane's protective instincts, fueled by his own haunted past of corporate espionage and identity crises, resulted in a restraining order that not only sidelines Danny, but also Rocco Falconeri, Scout's steadfast companion in playground escapades and family holidays, turning simple visits into legal minefields patrolled by weary guardians. Alexis, her legal mind sharp as ever from years defending the vulnerable in Port Charles' web of scandals, listens with a mix of maternal concern and professional detachment, her glasses perched on her nose as she sips chamomile tea to steady her own emotions tied to Sam's friendship. She firmly reminds Danny that self-reproach serves no purpose in a world where adult decisions, often laced with good intentions gone awry, dictate access to loved ones, drawing parallels to her own battles with family estrangements involving Christina and Molly. In this heartfelt exchange, Alexis might introduce a new angle, suggesting Danny channel his protectiveness into journaling letters to Scout or volunteering at youth programs, fostering growth while navigating the order's constraints, ultimately empowering him to envision a future where brotherhood triumphs over bureaucracy, perhaps hinting at a legal loophole or mediated family therapy session to bridge the gap. Meanwhile, at the cozy confines of Bobby's diner, still a hub of greasy spoons and whispered confidences, despite Bobby Spencer's enduring spirit, Nathan West engages in a delicate conversation with Felicia Scorpio and Damian Spinelli, centering on the fragile future of young James West amid swirling uncertainties. The air thickens with concern as they pore over custody documents under the diner's fluorescent lights, the scent of fresh pie mingling with the gravity of their words, focusing on who will provide the stable haven James needs in a town rife with resurrections and reversals. Nathan recently emerged from the shadows like a ghost from Port Charles' underbelly, his unexplained absence leaving scars on those who mourned him. Poses a probing question to the worried duo. Is this your subtle hint that I shouldn't push for custody enforcement right now, Felicia? James' devoted grandmother, whose Scorpio lineage brims with tales of adventure from Max Police tales to her own jewel thief escapades, wears a furrowed brow, her rings glinting as she gestures emphatically, insisting her role can't be sidelined despite the fresh shock of Nathan's return. Spinelli, the tech wizard with no blood ties but a hacker's heart full of loyalty from cracking codes for the elite, chimes in with animated defenses of Maxie Jones, who lies in a coma. Her vibrant energy paused like a frozen frame in a fashion magazine spread. As the discussion unfolds, layers peel back. Nathan's survival story hints at covert ops gone wrong, perhaps involving WSP entanglements that delayed his homecoming, while Felicia shares vivid memories of James' first steps amid family picnics. By the scene's close, a wave of relief washes over Felicia and Spinelli, possibly from Nathan's concession to shared guardianship or a promise of gradual reintegration. Envisioning co-parenting rituals like bedtime stories infused with tech gadgets and grandmotherly wisdom, fortifying James against the Quartermain Casadini storms brewing nearby. Deep within the dimly lit confines of Anna Devane's WSB-affiliated office, stacked with encrypted files and faded photos of past conquests, urgency pulses as she confides in Jason Morgan her unrelenting drive to uncover whether the notorious Caesar Faison lingers in the shadows, defying death once more. Anna's voice cracks with rare frenzy, her British accent sharpening as she grips the desk, explaining that destiny demands she deliver the final reckoning if Faison's pulse still beats, the personal vendetta rooted in decades of cat and mouse games that scarred her soul from Denmark's icy espionage to Port Charles' sunny deceptions. Jason, the stoic enforcer whose loyalty spans mob wars and memory wipes, absorbs her intensity. His tattooed arms crossed as he probes the depths of her fixation. Could Faison's final project mirror Victor Casadine's apocalyptic schemes? Perhaps a bioweapon disguised as a pharmaceutical breakthrough or a digital virus targeting global leaders, engineered in hidden labs echoing with his villainous laughter. No soul grasps Faison's labyrinthine mind like Anna, who recalls intimate details of fake accents, the henchman's betrayals, even the way he toyed with her emotions during their twisted alliance, fueling her conviction that he orchestrated his demise, tricking her into confronting a cleverly substituted corpse amid a blaze of forensic misdirection. This obsession propels Anna into perilous territory, endangering her safety as she pores over autopsy discrepancies and dispatches drones to forsaken European hideouts, potentially allying with unexpected figures like a reformed henchman or a whistleblower from Faison's old network. Her quest not only risks physical harm ambushes in fox-shrouded alleys or poison chalices at clandestine meets, but also emotional unraveling, forcing confrontations with her own regrets over Robert Scorpio's lingering influence. Yet it underscores her unyielding heroism in a city where villains rise like phoenixes from the ashes of apparent defeat. Finally, in the opulent shadows of sunny Corinthos Pentos, overlooking the glittering harbor where deals are sealed and hearts are broken, the mob kingpin orchestrates a clandestine rendezvous with acting district attorney Justine Turner, her poised demeanor clashing with the room's brooding aura of leather and aged whiskey. Sonny, ever the charismatic force with his tailored suits hiding bullet scars from turf wars, extends a cautious invitation, his dark eyes locking onto hers as he murmurs, "If my presence makes you uneasy, the door's right there, no hard feelings." The air crackles with unspoken electricity. They're meeting ostensibly about navigating legal tightropes around recent indictments involving pipeline shipments or elk manipulations. But undercurrents suggest a thaw in their professional frostiness. Justine, sharp-suited and steely from prosecuting Port Charles' underbelly while hiding her own vulnerabilities from a fractured marriage, hesitates at the threshold. Her briefcase a shield against Sonny's magnetic pulse shaped by years of calculated charm amid Carly's tempests and Nina's passions. As conversation shifts from case files to personal philosophy, Sonny sharing anecdotes of street kid resilience, Justine revealing courtroom war stories laced with moral dilemma sparks ignite, predicting a romantic escalation that could redefine alliances. Will this evening mark the ignition of a forbidden flame, with stolen glances evolving into tender touches by the fireplace? Or will Justine's ethical compass steer her toward the exit, briefcase in hand, preserving the divide between law and underworld? Next, we will learn about the explosive family drama unfolding at the Quartermaine mansion during the gripping November 4, 2025 episode of General Hospital. The Quartermaine household, long a symbol of opulent dysfunction and unbreakable bonds tested by betrayal, faced yet another seismic shift as the truth about Ronnie's deception came to light. With Ronnie's fraudulent schemes exposed in a whirlwind of courtroom confessions and whispered accusations, the estate's ownership swiftly transferred to Tracy Quartermaine, the shrewd matriarch whose unyielding resolve has defined her for decades. Family members gathered in the grand living room, surrounded by antique furnishings and portraits of past patriarchs, poring over Monica's meticulously drafted will under the soft glow of crystal chandeliers. Legal experts from the Quartermaine family firm, clad in sharp suits, verified every clause with painstaking precision, confirming that Monica's final wishes indeed bequeathed the sprawling mansion complete with its manicured gardens, hidden wine cellars, and echoing hallways to Tracy alone. This revelation, while bittersweet in honoring Monica's legacy of loyalty to her eldest daughter, ignited immediate tensions. As the Quartermaines grappled with the implications of such a concentrated power shift within their already fractured dynasty, Tracy, ever the picture of triumphant poise in her signature tailored blazer and pearl necklace, wasted no time asserting her newfound authority. She addressed the assembled relatives with a mix of gracious hospitality and cutting edge, declaring that the home would remain open to all who called it family provided they respected her rules. Laughter rippled through the room at first, imagining the mansion as a perpetual haven for holiday gatherings and midnight strategy sessions. However, Tracy's tone sharpened when it came to Ronnie, the interloper whose recent machinations had nearly cost them everything. Despite Ronnie's tearful admission of guilt and her noble decision to abandon any sale to Drew Kane, Tracy's grudge ran deep, rooted in years of watching outsiders erode the Quartermaine empire. With a flourish reminiscent of a Shakespearean eviction, Tracy escorted Ronnie to the ornate front doors, handing her a hastily packed suitcase and a frosty farewell. Mirroring the humiliation Ronnie had inflicted on her just days earlier during a heated boardroom confrontation, the air grew thick with unspoken resentments as Ronnie's eyes welled with regret, her once confident demeanor crumbling under the weight of rejection. The rest of the Quartermaines, who had warmed to Ronnie through shared meals, late-night confessions, and unexpected alliances forged in crisis, refused to let this injustice stand unchallenged. Brooklyn, the fiery music producer with a heart as vast as her vocal range, stepped forward first, her voice steady but laced with disappointment. She recounted how Ronnie had supported her through personal lows, including the fallout from a botched recording deal and family estrangements, arguing that forgiveness was the true Quartermaine tradition. Olivia, the vivacious co-owner of the Metro Court with her infectious optimism, joined in, emphasizing the mansion's role as a sanctuary for second chances, drawing parallels to her own improbable romance with Ned. Even Michael, the stoic CEO whose business acumen mirrored Edward's legacy, pleaded for compassion, highlighting Ronnie's contributions to recent charitable endeavors that benefited Port Charles youth programs. Tracy, however, remained immovable, her arms crossed like iron bars, insisting that trust, once shattered, demanded consequences. The family's pleas echoed off the high ceilings, but Tracy's resolve only hardened, forcing a painful standoff that exposed the fragility of their unity. As negotiations dissolved into stalemate, the Quartermaines took drastic measures, transforming the elegant foyer into a scene of poignant exodus. Brooklyn, hand in hand with her devoted husband, chased the steadfast police detective whose badge had shielded them, all announced their departure with quiet determination. They envisioned starting fresh in a cozy apartment overlooking the harbor, where Brooklyn could focus on her burgeoning music career without the shadow of familial discord. Olivia and Ned, the couple whose enduring love had weathered corporate scandals and operatic betrayals, followed suit, packing essentials into their luxury sedan and heading to the Metro Court for an indefinite stay. Ned reflected on the mansion's history of heartbreaks, from Leela's passing to recent corporate intrigues, vowing to rebuild elsewhere while preserving their bond. Michael, ever the protector of his young children, gathered Willow and their little ones, opting for the spacious Corinthos loft as a temporary refuge. He spoke of prioritizing stability for his family amid the chaos, his decision underscoring the generational shift away from the mansion's gilded cages. One by one, they filed out into the crisp autumn evening, suitcases in tow and goodbyes heavy with sorrow, leaving the grand doors to creak shut behind them like a final judgment. In the echoing silence that followed, Tracy wandered the empty halls, her victory tasting unexpectedly bitter. The once bustling dining room, where strategy sessions over aged scotch had plotted LQ's triumphs, now felt cavernous and cold. She paused by Monica's portrait, tracing the lines of a mother whose wisdom had guided them through darker days, questioning if her rigidity had driven away the very legacy she sought to protect. Shadows danced from the flickering fireplace, amplifying her isolation as she contemplated the empty chairs and untold stories now suspended in limbo. This solitude, self-imposed yet profound, highlighted Tracy's complex character, a blend of steely ambition and hidden vulnerability, forged in the fires of sibling rivalries and lost loves. Amid this upheaval, the ripple effects extend painfully to Gio, the young violinist whose journey into the Quartermaine fold has been marked by tentative hopes and lingering doubts. Just hours before the mass departure, Gio shared a heartfelt exchange with Emma, the spirited granddaughter whose empathy rivals her grandmother's. Seated on a park bench near the docks, with the salty breeze carrying echoes of distant ships, Gio opened up about his hesitations. He confessed the sting of Brooklyn's past deceptions, including a fabricated scandal that had jeopardized his scholarship dreams, yet admitted a growing desire to embrace the family's warmth. Emma, drawing from her own experiences of forgiveness during family upheavals, encouraged him with vivid anecdotes of reconciliation, painting the Quartermaines as a mosaic of flaws and redemptions. Her words ignited a spark in Gio, prompting him to envision himself contributing through performances at family events or aiding in LQ's cultural initiatives. Buoyed by this, he set off toward the mansion, violin case in hand, eager to declare his commitment. General Hospital spoilers for November 5th hint at a pivotal confrontation as Gio arrives at the now desolate Quartermaine estate, expecting a welcoming embrace, but discovering only Tracy amid the quiet. His arrival, timed with the first light of dawn filtering through stained glass windows, positions him as an unlikely mediator. With his outsider's perspective untainted by old grudges, Gio may articulate the value of inclusivity, weaving in tales from his nomadic upbringing to illustrate how exclusion breeds regret. Tracy, confronted by this fresh voice, could face a mirror to her actions, pondering whether to extend an olive branch or double down on her stance. The scene promises emotional depth, exploring themes of legacy and belonging in Port Charles' most iconic family. Do you think Tracy will change her mind and invite Ronnie back, potentially reuniting the Quartermaines under one roof once more? Stay tuned for more twists in this saga of love, loyalty, and lingering animosities.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.